Now for the last keynote before lunch, Cybersecurity, Navigating the Data Management Conundrum. Please join me in welcoming Kiran Vangavati, CEO of Blu Sapphire. Put your hand, no pressure. It is the session before lunch and our audience is waiting to hear from you. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I won't keep you from your lunch for very long. So thank you for joining me in this session of understanding the data conundrum, data management conundrum that we have in cybersecurity today. First of all, I want you to all give a loud applause for all the cybersecurity heroes that we have in this conference today. These are the unsung heroes of the IT industry. So please give a loud applause to yourself, please. I know I'm keeping you from lunch, but please. Right. Moving on, a little bit about me. Spent 25 years in IT industry, very evident from my balding head and salty beard that I sport. But staying on topic, spent last 19 years working for Fortune 10, Fortune 100 companies, leading large cybersecurity armies across multiple countries. 2017, I started Blu Sapphire to understand and figure out how we can do things better in a security operations center. We're here to talk about the modern paradox of cybersecurity. The more you seem to be spending each year, there was a discussion before where the suggestion given to the CEO was increase your budget. So the more we seem to spend in cyber, the more it seems to cost. It is like going to a gym, getting the membership, and paying additional every time you go there. But something doesn't sit right, right? And the expectation from the tool sets that you have, I'm going to specifically pick on SIM. Now, you could consider it your next-gen SIM, XDR, XCM, whatever funny acronyms you can come up with. But primarily that log repository you have, that is what I'm going after. When you bought it, it was really supposed to be that elegant tool that takes the required data from your, say, organization's data inputs, creates detection rules, alerts, generates alerts, give you compliance reports, and stays on top of these threats. But unfortunately, what it has turned out today is that it has become extremely bloated, very rarely useful, catching alerts and threats, and it's almost impossible to actually do any kind of triage on your SIM today, right? Now we're talking about this problem and how did we get here? We got here because in the last decade, the enterprise applications grew 4 times over. Right? The way too many applications that are sending data, the way too many technology evolutions that have happened in between, and it has resulted in a larger data collection than what it was before, which your previous SIM architectures were not designed to handle, right? And SIM being the one source of truth, or is it really? Because of the redundant data it is collecting today, it is actually very bloated and hardly useful. A lot of industry experts actually talk about 70% of the data not being relevant to the SIM at all, which is still being collected in SIM. Now, there is a valid reason why we as cybersecurity professionals are doing it, because that is the only source of truth where we go to do any triage, incident investigation, reporting, compliance, regulatory, whatever you want, right? That seems to be the only truth, but that was not the original purpose of the SIM, and it ended up being a lot more bloated and needing special cybersecurity experts to work on this, right? Now, as the data is growing, you're also stuck in a vendor lock-in. Majority of you are probably using all the big brand top 4 SIM providers that you can think of, or XSIM providers, XDR providers you can think of. The data that is being stored is proprietary to them. It is your data that you have paid for, that you have generated, and you are using it to analyze using a tool to which you don't have access. So it leads into a lot of vendor lock-in problems that exist in the market today. And this all obviously leads to higher costs, higher licensing costs, and with the kind of shrinking budgets in the CIO, CISO space today, it is becoming harder and harder to grow. And now you are trying in a situation where you're trying to decide, okay, what data do I collect and what I can live without? But unfortunately, today's threat landscape does not allow us to think that way. Today's threat landscape is I cannot afford to miss a signal that can give me an indication, an early warning of a threat attack. Now, whether there's XDR, XCM, or any other fancy acronym that the cybersecurity industry will throw at you tomorrow, which is growing much faster than my teenage son's Instagram post language, right? So irrespective of what they come up with, right? The industry experts are telling us that there are traditional delays in deploying XDR, adopting XDR. There are delays, there are actually a lot of cost implications in adopting XDR because it results in doubling and tripling your data consumption that you need to be looking out for, which eventually comes down to cloud costs or infrastructure costs or licensing costs. AWS, Azure, Office 365, SaaS applications, web, DB, whatever, and endpoints and everything. You're sending all of the data to your SIM, which is being managed by your Security Operations Center, where they have built use cases to work with this, and they've built detection mechanisms to actually detect threats, alert you, and probably build some compliance reports and other things along the way. Now, they tag into your existing SOC operation processes or your existing business operation processes. And that is a main cause why it is very difficult to tear away from your existing SIM, right? And you probably are archiving that data. Probably you can hold X amount of data. You're archiving that data to your S3 or some other data storage. There are business challenges with this approach. The challenge, one of the primary challenges being there is no easy access to the data that you have in archives. The data volume is growing, so your costs are growing. You can't disrupt your business processes, and you have a vendor lock-in situation where the data that you're storing and into your archives also is not future-proof, which means tomorrow I shift to a different vendor, I can't get access to that data anymore. I'll have to rely on CEF. You can talk a lot about exporting in CEF and others. In reality, that doesn't work. Now, enter Blu Sapphire, the secure data lake product that we have launched. It immediately results in reduction of your cost by up to 60% without changing your existing security or business processes. So that is big, because if I can allow you to reduce your licensing and data management costs without changing your business processes, that makes the adoption that much easier. No additional budget is required, so that it fits within your existing budget items, no net new budget, and it effortlessly meets your compliance and regulatory requirements while being future-proof. What do I mean by future-proof? The data stored in secure data lake is in open storage formats and is in open schemas. What that translates to is tomorrow, if Blu Sapphire is not the tool of your choice, you can work with any vendor and get access to that data in an open format, which means you're future-proof. There's no vendor lock-in here. So in essence, how do we do this? It is the same pipeline that you're used to. We take all that data into the ingestion pipeline, look at all the use cases you have built in your SIM, right? And send only that relevant data to your SIM. The rest everything goes into the secure data lake, where it is far more inexpensive and more efficient way to store it. Now, what does this data lake allow me to do? This data lake allows you to do streaming analytics. It allows you to do search. It allows you to do threat hunting. And it allows you also to do compliance and regulatory reporting on the fly without having to recover any data or restore any data from backups or anything like that. That data lake is present for you all the time, readily available. The immediate business benefits are obvious. There is no need to change any existing business process. There is no need to change any security operation processes, which is a nightmare for a CISO. There is no need to actually change your existing tool, which you probably spent 2 years maturing, or 3 years maturing for that matter. There's also no need to retrain your security operations staff, right? Immediate reduction in costs and improvement in performance, meet compliance and regulatory requirements faster, and obviously, we spoke about this, keep your data future-proof. Apart from that, Blu Sapphire ecosystem also started as a unified cyber defense platform that has multiple tools built into it for a security operations center. Now, this is backed by our secure data lake offering. Again, secure data lake offering is a very different offering compared to our unified cyber defense platform. It can work with your existing tool without having you to change anything in that ecosystem. A small snippet of what Blu Sapphire does will be played in the next one-minute video. Kindly bear with me while that plays, and then we'll go to any questions. So in essence, you're able to do all those analytics, all the AI-based searches, generative AI-based searches that you have seen, all of that on the data lake without any time delay in real time, just like you would do on your SIM also. So tomorrow, after moving your data to the secure data lake, if you need to create new use cases, those use cases can also be built on the SDL, secure data lake, and sent back to your SIM so it follows your regular process. SOC processes. Any questions? We'd love to catch up more and understand more about how we can help you at booth 50. Now with that, I won't keep you guys from your lunch. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.